You're listening to the ThePuffCast live with the Nightly Toker.
What's up, guys? This is episode 34 of the PuffCast. It's Thursday night. It's early Thursday night. It's my Friday. I'm off until Sunday. I've made it quite clear. Leave me alone. Don't contact me. Just get out of the way. So you know what? Since it's my Friday, since it's the first night off, we're gonna go hard here. Alright, you know what? I have been pretty much limping by with just a little bit of weed here. And of course, my evodes have pretty much all died. I've managed to piece one together. I've got a white battery, a red tank, a black top and mouthpiece from two different separate pens. It's really pathetic looking, guys. But you know what? It works. Sort of. Kind of. Sort of. Ish. Right? Ish. But, I'll make it work. Why? Because sometimes it just gets repetitive. Only using the airizer. Because you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of the vaping. I prefer smoke over vape. You know, I'm just, kind of getting set up here. Just kind of got in the house. Kid-free week and weekend. Kids are all away at camp. Wife's upstairs doing her thing. Just got home. So it's like, you know what? Let's do an early sesh. Get this uploaded. I was debating about going live, but I decided, you know what? I'm just going to record an episode, throw it up there. My internet's been kind of shoddy the last couple days, and I know, if I go live, sometimes it does cut out. So I don't want that to happen. Of course, the music is stopped because I forgot the auto DJ. So we're going to jump into the next song. I've kind of reordered the music mix, which is still kind of the basic same shit. Some of my stuff that I've produced for the PuffCast here. And other royalty-free tracks that I've found. So I've kind of reordered them a bit so it's not the same. But, it's not perfect. But, yeah. So you know what? This is the PuffCast. Like I said, it's episode 34. And I am your host, the Nightly Toker. It's just about 9 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Usually I don't broadcast till much later in the evening. But I figured, you know what? Take advantage of it while I can smoke earlier in the day since, there's no kids in the house. Boom. It's a beautiful thing. So, I got about one hit off of this evote here. I just put enough in there for a one hit. A one-hitter here. And it did work. I didn't overload it, and it worked quite well. I didn't have to do a double burn, which was nice. So, we're just going to really nicely pick this out. Get all that extra debris around the edges and the coil, because this coil doesn't seem to heat up very well. But it's the only... I got one other tank with the coil that's not all fucked up, but it takes a lot for it to heat up. Even on a double burn, it's not doing enough. I'm finding it's just lightly combusting the weed a bit. Almost like a vape. It's kind of heating it up. It's just browning it. I'm not really getting the smoke from it. I'm finding it's just kind of getting wasted. So yeah, let's see if this will work right now for another little hit. Because, well, you know. It's time. Yeah, it is. Alright, guys. You know what that sound means. If you don't, if you're new to the PuffCast, when you hear that tone, it means let's take a puff. Okay, I'm gonna puff throughout the entire PuffCast episode. Hopefully you do too. But whenever we hit that, we gotta take a good rip. So I've got a little kind of one-hitter bowl in the Evote here. Let's see if we can get the sucker to work again, because the air riser is currently charging. So it's either I wait or I make do. So we're gonna make do and make this work. Here we go. You know what? Not bad. Got it to work. Had to hold it for a while. I let go just before the battery would have kicked off, probably a couple seconds maybe. When I cracked this open, it was a little tiny poof of smoke. So very little waste on that, because usually that's the nice thing about these pens is that as long as you keep inhaling, you get all that smoke. You don't get any burn off and waste. Looking at my bowl here, you know what? I do think there's enough to just do a pick and a flick and maybe get a second hit off of it. I didn't think I put this much in, but it didn't fully burn. But I still got a decent hit off it. So you know what? We're not complaining, we're just explaining. So we did our pick and a flick, crank it back up, and we're going to hit it again, because as you know, if you leave it in there too long, it just kind of gets fucked up and gunky and gets stuck to everything. So just hit it, pick it, flick it, clean it. Let's hit it. Not bad. Super dry. Excuse me, super dry. I actually completely ran out. So I ended up asking the good old friend Bean, hey, can you help me out with a couple of grams? Just at the moment. Thankfully, he was able to oblige. That's what good friends are for. And I'm sipping on berry clear Kool-Aid, which is low sugar, which was actually kind of cool, because very rare do you find a juice box that's low sugar. And of course I see one of my dogs has come downstairs because she's like, hey, I smell what you're cooking. I smell that deliciousness. I wouldn't mind a puff or two. So you know what? I will load up a super small bowl for her, take a rip off it, and share. Because when she comes down on her own, I know what she's looking for. She wants to have a puff. She didn't have one last night because my pen wasn't really working, and I pretty much used up the last of what I had. So I was like, I'm sorry, I can't share. So I was taking smaller rips to try to stretch it a bit. But like I said, the pen wasn't really working too well. I think I got one bowl on the air riser before that battery died, and that was actually the last of it. And of course, it was the most horrible moment in the world in the reality of cannabis. As a smoker, we've all done it, I'm sure. So the grinder I typically use the most, because it collects the most keef, is my plastic grinder. Now the problem with this one is that even though it collects a lot of keef, the keef catcher doesn't really sit in there very well. It doesn't screw on, it just kind of sits in. So I got to kind of turn it till I get enough friction that it'll close. Well, it tends to want to separate. And I picked it up last night and the bottom fell out. And you just see the tray go down, hit the bottom of my stand here, right in front of me, and then a poof of keef just go bye-bye. It was not recoverable. It was just gone. And it was a very, very sad moment. Now, what's worse is that I wasn't even high. I had done most of a bowl. That's not going to get you super high. That wasn't a whole lot for me. So it was just shitty chance and moment where it just went poop, poof. It's like, oh, damn you. Oh, man. It was a very sad, sad moment. But it wasn't the first time that's happened. It happened a few weeks back. And at that point, I wasn't high either, which really sucks. Makes it worse. At least if you're high, you have an excuse. You have an out for, you're like, oh, you weren't paying attention. But no, I wasn't. My grinder's just a piece of shit. Now, if I use my $30 metal grinder, It's not even huge. It's like, I'd say, what, inch and a half diameter? Maybe? Smaller than my plastic one. I paid $5 for the plastic one. From the same store, I paid $32 for the metal one. And it does not collect very much keef. The screen on that one sucks. But it grinds really nicely. But I don't like using it because you just lose all that keef. It just doesn't really, gets built up and gunked up, turns to that oily, goopy, hard shit. Unless you scrape it out every single night, right? So I like the plastic one because I can at least catch that keef. And as long as the bottom doesn't fall out, then I have a nice little treat for later. Because it doesn't take very much grinding in this plastic grinder before I have a pretty good buildup of keef. Which is surprising because most grinders I've ever used takes a while to really get there. Because I don't smoke a huge amount. I'm not constantly grinding. But, you know what I do grind? I like to collect and save all that goodness. So, either way, it was a moment. I had it, it passed, I cried for a second inside. And now we're burning some new Platinum Bubba Kush, courtesy of Bean. Like I said, I would much rather prefer to be smoking only the strains and the delicious bud from our friends over at Bud Zone. However, I'm a little tapped out, but tomorrow is my payday. So, assuming the wife says I'm going to be placing an order with our friends over there for some deliciousness. Because you know what? I actually noticed the other day, because I check their site quite often to see what they're getting in, right? I haven't been able to order yet because I haven't had the funds. Because unfortunately, when you have a family, for me, smoking comes secondary. If I have to use money to feed or to clothe or somebody needs something, it goes to them first, right? So I haven't had that extra money. So thankfully, that free care package sample last week definitely came in handy. And the boys over at Bud Zone actually let me know that they have another care package coming out to me, which is super awesome and appreciated. Very, very cool. So I definitely appreciate that. I love trying out their strains. They have some of the best stuff I've ever tried. Pretty much, I would say it is the best stuff I've ever tried. I haven't smoked a stupid amount of different strains. Like some guys, like hundreds, right? I want to say maybe, I don't know, maybe 50 different strains? That's kind of low. But I also smoke a lot of the same strains, right? So, I haven't tried a lot, but these guys, oh my god, they're so good. Their stuff is just primo. Definitely check them out if you can. If you're Canadian, of course. If you're American, it will not work. It will not work. But budzone.ca, check them out. Of course, if you use coupon code PuffCast on your order of $150 or more, you're automatically going to get that free shipping, which is awesome. And I believe it's express post, so it's pretty quick and it's insured and you get a tracking number. But if you use that coupon code on that order of $150 or more, you're going to get a free eighth of Pink Kush. And of course, I tried this stuff last week. Me and the Bean did, actually. We had a hot box. We hit it on the bong a few times, and of course, we did a hot box with Platinum Bubba Kush and then Pink Kush. And oh my god, these strains paired up beautifully. But if you've never tried Pink Kush, definitely try it. You can order some from budzone.ca or whatever, But check them out. Alright, that's my rant, that's my spiel. So let's dive into this super dry but super appreciative Platinum Bubba Kush courtesy of Bean. You know what? Weed is weed. However, the more moist it is, I find the more flavor you get, the better the smoke is. It's just generally overall superior if you have moist, cared for weed. But you know what? Sometimes I find at the same time when it's super dry, of course you cough a lot. At least I do. And I find the more I cough, well, the higher you get, faster you get, but it burns off relatively quicker. At least for me. I don't know about you. So you know what? I am going to take another hit. Hopefully this e-vote holds out and says, you know what? We're going to work with you tonight, and we're just going to keep lifting you off until you say, you know what? We're done. All right. Let's do this. Let's hit this. At least hopefully. Okay, you know what? I didn't think I had much. I exhaled, and of course there was a little bit of smoke in there. So thankfully there was, like I said, it's a kid-free night, and they're not back for